Right, welcome back. Let's have a look at tab sheet then number 2, active participants. Now, of course, as that tab sheet comes up, that means we're talking the on-show event. Some components must be attended to and some actions must be taken. For example, we need to fill up that list box on the sideline here with applicants at this point of time inside the table. That means first of all we have to clean out that list box, and then second we have to go into that table, run through all the records and extract each one's ID number to put it right here. Then enabling, disabling, showing and hiding some other buttons. Alright, so let's see, even that date must be updated here. That's the current year and the current month, and some parts more. Let's jump into the coding. F12. Nope. F12. Here we go. Tab sheet 2, active participants. So first of all, we look at the on-show event of that specific tab sheet. So you can see some standard items are done, hiding some buttons, clearing the list box on the left-hand side. And here comes the database part. We need to move the record of our table applicant right to the first record to make sure that we really focus on each one of those ID numbers as we scroll through. Now, while not end of file from that specific table, let's do the following. What are we doing? We're adding each one's ID number as a string. Now, for those where that is a little bit uncommon, what we see here, that is a persistent data field. Normally, we're making use of dynamically created data fields. That means field and fields by subscript, or then field by name, and we name the name of that specific field. Now, that one here is a persistent data field, persistent like being static, like being our own object in itself. Let's have a look how we can create those persistent data fields, going over to the data module. I think we're talking like applicants. So let's zoom into the applicant table. It's right here. As that table is well connected to our connection string and then connected to the database, we can right click it and we can go to the fields editor. Now, normally you'll find it like empty here. You just right click inside the empty space and you can add like all fields, a new specific calculated field and so on, or then all fields, here, and add a specific field like here. So our ID number is sitting right here. The interesting part is you click on that ID number and you go to your object inspector, you'll find that that field is having its own object. That's why we call it persistent. So whatever you see down here, these are real property from an object then being that specific field. Field name, ID number, then the complete field name is just the table name joined with that field name, having all sorts of beautiful, nice properties we can tune in, even during design time. All right, so let's conclude with that. Let's go back and let's move on. Good question why I made use of a persistent field here. Most probably you could have done the same thing using a dynamically created field or calling it by name. Now what happens? We extract the ID number which is inside that specific field and we add it to the list box coming on the left hand side, being slotted in here. Then we're going to the next and the next and next record. Having all these different ID numbers added to the list box, we just sum up here record count and update some label for the progress bar right on top. Alright, let's move on. Next one is the clear button. In case we decided to clear out this table to start afresh, we're going for the clear all button. And that of course is taking out all these records. That means we're moving to the first one of the participants again. And as long as we're not touching the end of file, we are just saying delete, 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 which is deleting, well, the first record till it's all done. The add button. That means the add button is a little bit hidden for us at this stage. Let's scroll down right here. So we want to add those pre-selected or then also multiple selected ID numbers from the left hand side. That takes a bit of thinking, since it's not only the ID number we're taking over, we actually need to move back to that specific record, being inside that specific table, then accessing all the data, and as that data is extracted from the applicants table, it must be copied over to the participants table. So let's do so. We're going from 0, that's the subscript of the first element inside the list box, up to count -1, and then each time looking which one is selected. Not all are taken over, just those being selected. If it's well selected, we are extracting that specific string, which is then the ID number. We store it inside ID, and now we're making use of the locate function. That means we are looking up that specific field being called ID number, and we are looking that specific value that should be found inside that field. Now let's have a quick look just to double check for you. Inside participants table being right here, and we are looking and focusing on that field ID num. So we are looking up the value from here. Now there's a last argument here which you could tune in as being case insensitive. That means it doesn't matter whether the spelling is case sensitive or not, or then a partial key. That means it doesn't match 100%, it can partially be matched up. Now for us, both of these shouldn't be taken into account, so we just leave it empty. It looks like a set. And the moment we are locating that specific ID inside that specific field, being inside that table, we're getting a positive answer for answer. The moment we are not getting that answer, that means that ID does not yet exist. We can go on and can add that specific ID to the participants table. And of course, if it would have been found right up here, we shouldn't add it. So we should come up with some error message. Let me first just there. Duplicate ID is not allowed. So here you see a brilliant, nice second method of double checking for doubling of IDs. Now the moment we want to add this data, of course, on the participant side, we have to issue an insert command here. Then we need to make sure that all the data is in place before posting. So we're getting the ID, we're assigning it over here to the persistent ID num field. We increment the start number, and of course the start number then is a global defined variable. Then the start number is also being one of those fields. We need to attend to the ID number again, extracting some critical values to decide whether we are male or female. And you all know this, like position number 7. From 5,000 up, the 4 next digits, 5,000 up is like male, and 4,999 and down to 0 is like female. Having the same problem with those born kids after 2000, we need to take some decision, and we did so here. With a more complex coding, you can make it like working for everyday life and for each and every year coming, but we kept it easy and simple here. So the moment your ID number displays like 07 at the start, we can decide that's a kid born in 2000 onwards. The moment that number is bigger, then of course we can decide it's born in 1900 and lower down, like 1999 and lower down. Okay, having all this in place, we can actually work out the age. So we're just getting from today's year right here to keep life easy again, and we are subtracting our temp year, which was worked out just now, since we added 1920 right in front. If all that data is in place, we can post. That means we are saving that record and we are happy. The last part of that